Have you ever said yes when you actually wanted to say no? Have you ever felt that something wasn't for you, but you pursued it anyway? Or have you found yourself reacting automatically and then thinking, I wish I had responded differently? It may not seem like it, but all of that is also related to yoga. Because yoga was never about stretching, touching your toes, or doing complicated poses on a mat. In fact, many people think yoga is simply a physical practice, something that you do for 1 hour in a class and then you go on with your day. But the reality is that yoga is much deeper than that. It is an ancient discipline originating in India that connects body, mind, and breath through physical poses, asanas, breathing exercises, pranayama, and meditation. And its purpose is not flexibility, it is union between body and mind, between what you think and what you feel and what you act. That's why yoga is not just a series of exercises, it is a philosophy of life, an ancient system of self-knowledge that seeks to create more clarity, more balance, and more inner peace. And the interesting thing is this: many of the most authentic ways to practice yoga don't look like yoga at all. They don't require a mat, or incense, or special clothing. Sometimes practicing yoga is simply how you respond when something bothers you, how you speak when emotions arise, or how you return to yourself over and over again through the day. So, in today's episode, we're going to explore the things that don't look like yoga but actually are. We will talk about the philosophy behind yoga and its ethical code, the yamas and the niyamas, and how you can practice yoga in your daily life even when you are not in a class, because real yoga doesn't happen only on the mat. It happens in how you live your life. Welcome to a new episode of our podcast. Today we're going to talk about something many people don't know. Yoga is not just about stretching, doing impossible poses, or wearing special clothes, or burning incense. In fact, yoga goes far beyond that. It is an ancient discipline originating in India that seeks to connect body, mind, and breath through physical postures called asanas, breathing exercises known as a pranayama, meditation, and self awareness practices. Its goal is to achieve unity, harmony, and inner peace, reducing stress and improving both our physical and mental health. But today, I want to take you a step further. Yoga is not just a set of exercises, it is a philosophy of life, an integral system that can be applied at any moment of the day without needing a mat, incense, or meditation beads. The word yoga comes from Sanskrit yug, which means union and to unite. Essentially, yoga seeks to unite the individual self with universal consciousness, balancing your body and mind. It is called a practical philosophy because it's not a religion but a path of self knowledge with deep theoretical foundations that can be applied in everyday life. Yoga is based on ancient texts, mainly the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which guides us in ethics, mind, and daily practice. So, how I like seeing the philosophy of yoga, it's like a tree where we have two main roots, which are the yamas and the niyamas. And from each root, we're going to have another sub roots that are the parts of each of them. So within the philosophy of yoga, the yamas and the niyamas are the ethical code that serves as a guide to living better and in harmony with others and yourself. The yamas are the ethics towards others, the ethics towards the environment as well and the community. So the first one starts with ahimsa. Ahimsa means no violence. Practicing no violence is not only a physical actions, but also in words and thoughts. For example, saying no to a plan when your body says no, you choose not to harm yourself, you're practicing ahimsa here. Then many yogis that also choose to practice ahimsa through no having or eating certain products or kind of food. But also ahimsa can be practiced in the way that we talk to ourselves and if we are aware what are our inner thoughts, because this is our food as well and this is also how we are treating ourselves. So choosing no violent thoughts and words within ourselves is ahimsa too. The second one is satya, which is truth, being honest with yourself and with others. It involves living with integrity and speaking the truth without harming. For example, could be telling the truth when it could be easier not to, or expressing what you really feel. This is living in alignment with what is real. The next one is asteya, which is no stealing. And it's not only avoiding taking what isn't yours, but also not taking advantage of others or situations. For example, that could be not taking the credit for a colleague's work or not claiming opportunities that aren't yours. The third one is brahmacharya, which is moderation and living with balance and avoiding excess. It's not just about sexuality, but energy in general. For example, avoiding constant phone checking or excessive fast food consumptions. You maintain balance in energy and focus. The next one is aparigraha, which is no possessiveness. Learning to let go, not clinging to things, people, or outcomes. For example, not chasing what isn't meant for you. What is meant for you will come without forcing it. All right, so now we're going to talk about the other root, which is the niyamas. And the niyamas are the ethics towards oneself. The first one is saucha, and saucha means cleanliness and purity. And it's about keeping your body, your mind, and environments clean. Not just in a physical, but also in a mental and in an emotional level. An example of this is tidying up your work desk or workspaces for mental clarity, your home spaces too. But also that can be applied as clearing your negative thoughts, being aware of the thoughts that you have in the beliefs that you have as well about yourself, about life, about success, about abundance, etc., about your body, and or do a clear up and do a cleansing of all these thoughts and beliefs that are no longer serving you. Also, it applies into the cleansing of your body, like looking after your body, be aware of what kind of substance you put on your body that also may affect your mental health or your emotional health. The next one is santosha, which is contentment. And it's about learning to accept what you have and finding happiness in the present without relying on external achievements. For example, is allowing yourself to feel enough without adding anything more. Satisfaction is not complacency, it is peace. And how can this be practiced in an everyday life? Well, appreciating everything that you have, that you do, appreciating the simple moments of life, like could be drinking your cup of tea or coffee or the drink that you have in the mornings and enjoying the surroundings where you are. The next one is tapas, and it means discipline. And it's about cultivating willpower and consistency even when motivation is low. An example of that is showing up for yourself when no one is watching. That devotion without applauses is tapas. Is doing the things that may feel uncomfortable, but you do it because you know that it's gonna feel good for yourself. Could be meditating for 10 minutes or for 5 minutes, if so, or maybe reading a couple of pages a day, or going for a short or long walk. Doing these things that you know they are good for yourself could be like even having a healthy meal. That is tapas because you're choosing yourself. The next one is esfadaya. Before I continue, I'm going to just excuse my Sanskrit. It may doesn't sound very Sanskrit. It's something that I'm still learning. And this one means self-study, and it's about knowing yourself, reflecting and learning from experiences, and studying teachings that nurture the mind. An example of that could be observing yourself with curiosity instead of judgment, practicing introspection, taking the stance for journaling, for checking with yourself how you felt during the day, because self-knowledge transforms. The next one is Ishva Pranidhana, and that means surrender in Sanskrit, and it's about recognizing that not everything is under your control and accepting life with trust and gratitude. An example of that is trusting that what unfolds in your life comes without clinging to the outcome. Surrender is a strength. So we just talked about all the roots of our tree, which is the 8 limbs of yoga, the philosophy of yoga. And why the yamas and the niyamas are this root is because they are the foundation of the practice, because without ethical and mental stability, the later steps lose the power. And what are these later steps? Well, the first one is asana, the physical postures, what people normally recognizes as yoga. And the goal is strengthen and flex the body, but also build mental resilience and inner stability. In a real life application, this is not just about touching your toes or flex and blend like a spaghetti. It's, for example, about staying firm and balanced in difficult situations at work or at home with your loved ones, and holding your balance and holding your values when others try to pressure you. That is also practicing asana, the physical and the mental strength. All right, so the next one is pranayama. Pranayama, it's about the breathing regulation. So it's about the conscious breathing techniques. The goal here is to regulate the vital energy, known in Sanskrit as prana, calm the mind and improve the focus. So taking a deep breath before replying to an irritating or emotional message, or using your breathing to calm the anxiety before speaking in public are one of the many examples where you're practicing pranayama on and off the mat. So it's as simple as now taking a deep inhale and exhalation and be aware of your breathing. Be aware of how your breathing is. This is pranayama. And if you would like to practice a short meditation guided breathing exercise, the previous episode to this one, I share a full exercise, very short, less than 15 minutes, so you can practice also there. The next one is Pratyahara. Pratyahara, it's known as the sense withdrawal, but I don't personally like using the words withdrawal. I'd rather using regulation, because I believe that every single part of our body has a purpose, right? And it's not about withdrawing or controlling either. It's about regulating. So let's say that one is regulating the senses from external distractions, avoiding automatic reactions, and learning to observe without attachment. How that can be seen in real life is receiving a critical comment and not reacting immediately, or letting the emotional wave pass before responding, which means coming home before acting. And that one can be quite challenging in modern society, as we have all these actions and distractions happening from the outside, from phones notifications, lights, and overloaded of information that we have. So the real practice is to train the mind and train ourselves to respond instead of reacting. The next one is dharana, concentration. It's about focusing the mind on a single point or object. It's about training the mind to not wander and stay focused. So in a real life application, that could be focusing completely on a work task without distractions, or giving full attention to someone in a conversation. Here I'm going to ask you questions. How many times you've been in a gathering, in a meeting, and you escaped unconsciously, which means not voluntarily, with your phone? How many times you've been in that gathering and you were just scrolling or checking your phone? This is dharana. When you can focus your awareness where you're going to be. If you're going to be in that conversation, in that room, if you're going to be in this meeting, you're going to have this time with your family, and being present without distractions. And even if your mind wander, you stay focused. So how we practice this in a yoga practice is to train the mind. It's, for example, when we are in meditation and we bring the awareness to one part of the body, could be, for example, the third eye between the two eyebrows in the forehead. Or even when you have your eyes open, you can practice this while being aware of the objects in the room, where you can find 3 objects in the green color, 2 objects in a red color, 1 object in black. So this is concentration. This is training your mind so you stay focused. The next one is dhyana, which is meditation. And this is a continuous, effortless concentration entering a flow state. It's about deepening the introspection and mental clarity. It's about being present while doing everyday tasks, like washing your dishes, like walking or driving, without letting the mind drift into worries of judgment. Meditation is not just about sitting silently. It's about being present in what you do. And the last one, but not least, is the main goal of yoga. The main goal of yoga is not about getting more flexible or touching your toes or bending like a spaghetti. The main goal of yoga is enlightenment, union. It's complete union with the moment, consciousness, and oneself. Deep peace, clarity, and liberation from mental suffering. Feeling total calm and absolute presence amid chaos. Like enjoying a simple moment with someone you love, or experiencing deep gratitude while doing something ordinary. Samadhi is living in a harmony in action. Yoga was never about the pose. It's about how you breathe when things don't go your way, how you speak when emotions arise, how you return to yourself over and over again. This is the real practice. You guys know, something that you perform is something that you live. Integrating these teachings into your daily life is real yoga. In your relationships, at work, in your decisions, and how you treat yourself. If you want to understand yoga beyond the mat, philosophy, nervous system, and real life applications, I invite you to subscribe to the podcast, hit the notification bell, click in the thumbs button, and also join my weekly newsletter so you get notified every time that I upload a new episode like this one. Also, I highly encourage you to explore the links down in the description, where you got access to my exclusive content like my courses, my free guide where I share more practices, mindful and ancient practices to regulate your nervous system, to train your mind, to work with your abilities to activate and embody your personal power. And I love hearing about you in the comments, so let me know down in the comments anything that came up for you within this episode, anything that you would like to share. I love reading you there. And if you would like to practice yoga, you also have access to some of my practices in my YouTube channel. I will leave the links down in the description as well. And from the bottom of my heart to yours, thank you so much for being here, and I see you in the next one.